Well, Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend the rules and pass H.R. 3675, the Federal Communications Commission Process Reform Act of 2013, as amended.
The clerk will report the title of the bill.
H.R. 3675, a bill to amend the Communications Act of 1934 to provide for greater transparency and efficiency in the procedures followed by the Federal Communications Commission.
Pursuant to the rule, the gentleman from Oregon, Mr. Walden, and the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Dole, each will control 20 minutes. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Oregon.
And I thank the chair for his recognition, and I ask unanimous consent that all members may have 5 legislative days in which to revise and extend their remarks and insert extraneous materials into the record on the bill.
Without objection, so ordered.
Mr. Speaker, the communications sector is one of the most innovative, competitive, and robust sectors of our economy. But for innovation and investment to continue in communications, we must not weigh industry down with needless red tape and delay. Now, despite the lackluster overall economy, the communications and technology market continues to grow at a very rapid pace. In fact, in 2012, Mr. Speaker, the industry invested $68 billion in broadband infrastructure alone. That totals $1.2 trillion invested in upgrading that broadband infrastructure network since just 1996. $1.2 trillion. Communications and technology companies, as well as consumers that enjoy their products and benefit from their services, deserve a transparent and responsive government agency. While agency process has improved under recent chairmen, this legislation will ensure that reforms remain in place from one administration to the next. Even with the positive changes at the Commission, recent examples of bad processes have resulted in what I would say are dangerous outcomes at the Commission. To wit, late last year, the Federal Communications Commission issued a notice for a study that will call into question the editorial decisions of journalists in their own newsrooms, which I think threatens the First Amendment rights. Somehow, an item as controversial as this study made it all the way through the FCC without so much as a commission vote. Americans deserve greater accountability, transparency, and accountability from their government. So this bill is the result of a multi-year process, ending with bipartisan agreement that takes important steps toward improving this very important agency. The legislation will produce a joint effort where the Commission establishes procedures to achieve the goals established by Congress. The Commission is charged with setting its own deadlines and timelines, but having deadlines and timelines. While the legislation allows the Commission a good deal of flexibility in meeting the goals we've set, the bill includes backstops to ensure accountability. The annual scorecard we call for in the bill requires the Federal Communications Commission to report to Congress on the agency's success in meeting its own self-imposed metrics. The bill requires the FCC to undertake 2 separate proceedings, Mr. Speaker. The first requires a notice and comment rulemaking, resulting in the FCC adopting rules to address several different reforms, setting a minimum time period for comments in an FCC rulemaking. That allows for certainty for those who wish to comment, the public. In addition, adopted rules must address issues like data dumps at the end of a comment period, transparency as to items pending before the Commission, and publication of the language of proposed rules. All those are very important parts of a more open and transparent government and a process that taxpayers can rely upon. Rulemaking also requires the Federal Communications Commission to adopt deadlines for action on several types of filings before the agency. As I know all too well from my own experience, having been regulated by the Federal Communications Commission when my wife and I were in the radio industry, items can sit at the agencies for literally years without any action, and then they're acted upon, and the person bringing the action may have 30 days on something that's sat there for 10 years. Now, the second proceeding is an inquiry that deals with more complex issues, giving the Federal Communications Commission flexibility in deciding whether and how to implement those reforms. Now, by giving the FCC flexibility when setting procedures and deadlines, we're not constraining the agency. Rather, we're providing them with goals to meet and allowing them, the professionals there at the FCC, to determine the best way to meet those goals. Now, many of the reforms in the bill are things that the Commission itself already has the authority to do under existing law. However, the bill also changes the existing Sunshine Act to allow for greater collaboration among the commissioners themselves. I think that'll bring about better government. All of these reforms combined will. The FCC has started its own review of agency processes, and in a report released earlier this year, many of the areas the agency itself found needing reform mirror provisions of our legislation, H.R. 3675. The American public expects and deserves a transparent and accountable federal government, no matter who's in charge in the White House. So let's start this reform with this agency that oversees one of our most innovative and robust sectors of the economy. With that, Mr. Chairman, I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman from Oregon reserves the balance of his time. The gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today along with my friend and colleague, Mr. Walden, in support of H.R. 3675, the FCC Process Reform Act of 2013. The Federal Communications Commission is charged with overseeing industries that make up 1/6 of our national economy. The communications and technology sectors are driving economic growth across the nation, connecting businesses to markets large and small, and delivering innovative new products and services to consumers. Perhaps more importantly, communication networks are the part of the very fabric of our democracy, providing the news and information that makes us informed citizens and voters. With a mission this critical, both Democrats and Republicans believe that the FCC must be efficient, transparent, and accountable. We started this debate in the Energy and Commerce Committee with different perspectives about how to achieve these goals. Last Congress, our work on this issue unfortunately devolved into a process and a vote on the bill that was dead in arrival in the Senate. But this Congress, thanks to Chairman Walden's leadership and consultation with Ranking Members Waxman and Eshoo, we were able to come to an agreement on a set of bipartisan reform proposals that were unanimously supported by the committee. I want to highlight several key provisions in this bill that we believe will improve the functioning of the FCC. The first reform is the Sunshine Act, to allow FCC commissioners to collaborate more closely while preserving the transparency of agency decision-making. I introduced this legislation along with Representative Eshoo and Shimkus, and I'm pleased to see it incorporated in the bill we're considering today. The second area that I'm particularly pleased with is the incorporation of a provision to provide an exemption to the Anti-Deficiency Act for the Universal Service Fund. Today, the FCC relies on temporary exemptions from the Anti-Deficiency Act to be able to administer the Universal Service Program that supports connectivity to schools and libraries, known as E-rate. The bill we reported out of the Energy and Commerce Committee would have permanently exempted the Universal Service Fund from the Anti-Deficiency Act, but unfortunately we were unable to reach agreement with CBO about the impact of this provision. I want to thank my colleagues in the majority for working with us to come up with an alternative that provides a longer, if not permanent, exemption. I believe it demonstrates our committee's bipartisan support for providing the FCC with the flexibility it needs to administer the E-rate program. I also want to compliment FCC Chairman Wheeler for his actions to address transparency and efficiency of FCC decision-making. From his very first day at the helm of the agency, he is focused on remedying the concerns identified in the bill that we're considering today. I urge the FCC to continue to move forward on reforms they can make under their own initiative while we continue to work on this legislation. Finally, I want to close by saying that I think the manner in which the FCC Process Reform Act was developed should be a model for the entire House going forward. Working together, members of the Energy and Commerce Committee crafted legislation that addressed the concerns from both sides of the aisle. I'm proud to have been a part of this effort. I want to thank my colleague, Chairman Walden, for his work. I urge all my colleagues to support this important legislation to make the FCC more efficient, transparent, and accountable, and I look forward to working with our colleagues in the Senate and continuing to help this bill become law. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman from Pennsylvania reserves the balance of his time. The gentleman from Oregon.
I thank the gentleman for his kind comments and his diligent work on this effort, and that of his colleagues on the Democratic side of the aisle. I think when it comes to reforming the FCC and getting something that really worked for the public, we are joined at the hip. And so I appreciate their input and the work we did together. Our subcommittee has actually done quite a bit of bipartisan work over the last couple of years, moving forward with the incentive auction program to free up more spectrum for all these new wireless devices that are out there, and new technology and innovation. We're really at the center of the ability of the country to grow and innovate and produce really good paying jobs. And so I appreciate Mr. Doyle's comments, and I want to now recognize the Vice Chair of the Subcommittee on Communications and Technology, Mr. Goodlatte from Ohio, who has been an extraordinary member of our team in working on this and other major communications policy going forward. Play a key role tomorrow when we have our hearing on the reauthorization of the Satellite Viewer Act. And with that, I would now recognize the gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Latta, for such time as he may consume.
I thank the gentleman for yielding. I greatly appreciate it, and I appreciate all the hard work that you've done on this legislation. Mr. Speaker, I rise today in support of H.R. 3675, the Federal Communications Commission Process Reform Act of 2013. The communications industry represents a promising sector of our economy that has fostered widespread investment, innovation, job creation, and greater consumer choice. As the industry evolves and makes unprecedented technological advancements, the possibilities for future innovation and modernization are endless. As members of Congress, we have to ensure that businesses and entrepreneurs are equipped with the opportunity and flexibility to continue making that sustained progress. The FCC Process Reform Act should facilitate this effort. This legislation would initiate much-needed regulatory reforms to the Federal Communications Commission and bring additional transparency and accountability to the agency. I applaud Chairman Walden for his efforts and leadership in developing this bipartisan piece of legislation, and I look forward to working with him and other members of the subcommittee as we work forward on this important piece of legislation. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I thank the gentleman for yielding, and I yield back.
Gentleman from Ohio yields back. The gentleman from Pennsylvania.
Does the gentleman have any more speakers? Mr. Chairman, we have no more speakers, so at this point I will yield back the balance of our time.
Gentleman from Pennsylvania yields back. The gentleman from Oregon is recognized.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I would conclude by again thanking my colleagues on the Democratic side of the aisle for their good work on this legislation, their partnership in this. I think this is really good government. This is how we get things done on the Energy and Commerce Committee, and it's how we're going to improve the activities and procedures of these agencies to restore a little confidence in at least this sector of government. The Federal Communications Commission has a lot of work to do. It's very important work for the future of our country. Tomorrow, as I said, our committee will take up a draft legislation to make sure that those who watch television over satellite will be able to continue that process, and we'll do some other reforms along the way. And on throughout this year, Mr. Speaker, our Subcommittee on Communications and Technology plans to solicit all kinds of information from individuals around the country on how to update the antiquated Telecommunications Act that dates back to either 1934 or 92 or 96, depending upon which law. So we have a lot of work to do, Mr. Speaker, and this bill moves an important piece forward. And with that, I'd urge my colleagues to support this legislation, and I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman from Oregon yields back the balance of his time, all time having now expired on this bill. The question is, will the House suspend the rules and pass the bill H.R. 3675? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, two-thirds being in the affirmative, the rules are suspended. The bill is passed, and without the bill as amended is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.